Stand by. The program will begin soon. I don't know why I'm talking about this. During World War II, we sent 90 million pounds of spam just to the Russians alone. I mean, we sent it all over the world. Our troops, especially in the Pacific Theater, ate it. That was basically what they ate all the time. 90 million pounds to the Russians. Apparently in like the 50s, Nikita Khrushchev said, you know, if they hadn't sent us all this spam, they might not have been able to feed their troops during World War II. So a little weird canned kind of ham pork product, canned meat, may have won World War II. And the Fed is trending on X. I wasn't sure why, and I'm still not 100% sure why, although part of it is because of this building that they're renovating. They're supposed to be renovating at one of the buildings at the Fed, right? And the other day, Donald Trump came out there with Jerome Powell, and they're talking about how the renovation of the building was kind of a little bit over budget, okay? First of all, the numbers on this are crazy. They wanted $2.something billion to renovate a building at the Fed. $2.1 billion. Well, this is $2.5 billion. But they're over budget by over $1 billion for one building. They're over budget over $1 billion for one building. $1 billion friggin' dollars for one building. This isn't even for building a new building. It's for renovating a building. What the actual F are they doing? If after a night of filling your rectum with vodka from a turkey baster, the cops find you changing a flat in the cereal aisle of a Piggly Wiggly and ask how much you've had to drink, and you say nothing, are you lying? Well, no. Now, if they had been asking, have you been injecting? You'd have to say yes, but they said, have you been drinking? Well, no, absolutely. Yeah, Lord Stanhope, absolutely not. In fact, you all can try to answer these questions. Stand by. The program will begin soon. A WNBA game got stopped in the middle of the game because one of the players lost their wig while they're playing, and they had to run off. And then some fan made fun of the player, and they had to run. And they kicked the fan out for making fun of a player losing the weave. Not a weave, it was a wig. Losing their wig. They had to have a timeout for the wig, a wig emergency. Which I'm like, why the F are you wearing a wig while you're playing basketball? But then yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, a game had to be stopped briefly because someone threw a big old green dildo on the floor. Someone threw a dildo out on the floor, out on the court. They had to stop the game. I don't know if they caught the person who sent the dildo, but the green dildo was on the court, and a good large number of the players had no idea what to do with something of that shape, but that's okay. It happened, and then someone made this t-shirt or this meme, pay us what you owe us, which has a dildo on it. So that was fun. Hey, you know what the really good interrupt violence through community-based bystander training? Yeah, if the bystanders beat the fuck out of someone who's attacking somebody else, that would be great bystander training. They could send them to the MMA gym, you know, put them in an arm bar, smack them in the face a few times. Stop doing that bullshit. That would be the best community-based bystander training, but I don't think that's what it means. Anyway. And then the other one, they'll go back all the way to Dylan Roof. Dylan Roof's the other one, which, does anyone, okay, let me ask you something. A lot of you are right-leaning on the right. Is there anybody in this that you, anyone you know of? Is there anyone that you know of on the right who supports or supported Dylan Roof? Because I know everyone I can think of who's like, Dylan Roof, fuck that guy. He went out and murdered people in a church. Fuck that guy. But the left is like, oh, he was a right-wing extremist. Nah, he's a fucking asshole. Fuck that guy. Yeah, fuck Dylan Roof. Nobody gives a shit about Dylan Roof. Nobody claims him. Nobody wants him. He's an asshole. Okay? He's a little punk bitch asshole who killed a bunch of people in the church. Stand by. The program will begin soon. Reverend Robin Bartlett of First Church of Sterling, Massachusetts, uses John 1:14 of the Bible to justify why she brings her 11-year-old son to drag shows. This is what we're getting in the Rainbow Church. The Rainbow Church aren't exactly hiding. That's true. The Word became flesh and lived among us, and my body, your body, their bodies are home for the living God. That is why I take my 11-year-old boy to drag shows in the summer with my friend and fellow church leaders, Kate, and her 11-year-old boy. Especially if you're a man, bodies can be celebrated and played with. That's her message. What the fuck? California wants to let someone that is not related to your child remove her from school, him or her, enroll her in any other school in the state, authorize any medical treatment, including mental health services and drugs, without the parent's notice and knowledge or consent. Can you see where that might be a problem? This is not fear-mongering. I'm not being hyperbolic, she warned. These are unintended consequences, and it is terrifying. They are unconscionable or unavoidable. So that's one really bad California law that they're coming with. I can't believe. I'm just dumbfounded that they're doing it. Now this is interesting. That new mayor candidate, the leading Democratic mayor candidate for New York City mayor, Damme, wants cops to stop responding to attacks on Jews. And by the way, Jews in New York City are victims of the majority of hate crimes. Not a plurality, but the majority of hate crimes against people in New York are against Jewish people. And you know, especially religious hate crimes. Anyway, 345 hate crimes in New York City last year, more than all other minority groups combined, according to the New York Police Department data. Anti-Jewish crimes accounted for 54% of the 641 total hate crimes reported to police in the city in 2024. Since the beginning of the year, 60% of the 123 recorded hate crimes have targeted Jews, according to the New York Police Department. Well, Zohran Mamdani, the radical Islamist and leftist terrorist supporter, has proposed that New York Police Department not respond to hate crimes, instead that they be handled by social workers. Either this shifts resources away from responding to attacks on Jews and moves away from having law enforcement deal with those attacks, and instead has its political leftist allies deal with them by burying them. Right? Show. If I put something on the screen or I'm talking about it, or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Oh, there we go. I can hear it now. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Excuse me. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It's Hump Day, Wednesday, the 24th of September, 2025, and there's a major hubbub happening in Dallas this morning. Apparently, somebody fired shots at an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas, and everyone's already trying to make hay of it. Apparently some detainees were shot, not officers there. And of course, everyone's jumped all over this, both in the right and the left, right, saying, this is what happens when you demonize the ICE. And then and people on the left are, the detainees were hit. This is Trump's America. We don't know anything about it other than 3 people were shot, and the person they found was a white male, which they so very prominently put out a couple of the outlets. It's a white male who ended his own existence. So we'll talk about that in a moment, and that is the top topic. Even though I have that dude up there here, hopefully we'll get to that. But as what the hell did I just do? Hang on. But as we often do, we're going to say hi to everybody first and try to get the show started in the normal way. Try to keep some. What the hell did I do there? Gosh, darn it! Let me try this again. Hang on, I'm trying to fix something. Why is that not working? Did I just leave the stream? There's that. Okay, I'm back. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. Let's do that. Add a little light. Lighten up there. Lighten up. I'll take it. Anyone remember the Fabulous Thunderbirds? That's a pretty good band, even though they only had a couple hits. Anyway, all right, so let's get it going. First in the chat today. For the first time ever getting the bell, none other than Miss Midnight, the youngster, did it. Yeah, I'm gonna get you too, because you even beat out AD, who was very close but no cigar. You know what I'm saying? He said he was watching some stuff, drunk people getting arrested or something. Anyway, congratulations, Midnight, your first bell of the show. Also, good morning, Avocados Diabli, Mike Savage, Blarg, Lewis is here. Resolute Germ, what's up? Raymond Lewis, the other Lewis, is here. So we got another Louis. Renee Mayette is here. Good morning. TC's in the house. Zero the Hero, what's up? I'm scrolling down here. That's Midnight. See, your Abby always makes me think there's more than another person. Puffer Smiles. What's up, Puffer Smiles? And Cashapp, what up, Kirsten? Good to see you this morning. And so I'm scrolling down. That looks like about it. Oh, TC's in the house. What up, TC? And Sure You Gospel, Blue Eyed Scream, number 1. Good to see everyone in the chat that's here already. If you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and do that now. There's 20 people, 8 likes. I'd like to have that at least 99% if you can. It helps somehow. Somebody eventually will see the show because you liked it. Better yet, share the stream. Click that link at the top of the chat and say, let's go, and put a GIF or something funny that makes people look at it. Good morning, GBDSOB. It's been a while. I keep singing that song, and you keep telling me who the band is, and I keep forgetting. Also, with words of inspiration, the Pope is here. Yes, Pope Tyrannius III, the Blessed Lich. Blessings of the Most High. Remember the 3 us. The you were. The what? Remember the 3 us. The you were. The you are. And the you will be. Oh, I see. Gotcha. Recognize each you. Don't hate the you were, and make sure the you will be is the you want to be. That was changing. Oh, and Avocados Diablo, I did not. Please forgive me, sir. So, all right. Let's just go, because there's like I said, there's this breaking news thing that's not making me happy, and already people immediately politicizing it, which both sides are doing. I hate it when some of these events happen and more people are worried about, oh, which side were they on, rather than what about the victims? And I know in my mind I always go, here we go, another lefty did this, or some right-wing nut job this, but that shouldn't be your first thought. Your first thought should be for the victims. Good morning, Tag Alpaca, by the way. What the hell is going on here? Okay, this thing is really pissing me off. All right, God bless America. What the hell's going on? I literally just fixed this. All right. Which way would it go? This way? Saturation, unsaturate, more light. Nope, not more light. Oh, it just looks like I'm in the dark. Well, it's going to be that way for this show. I don't know what to do about the color saturation on this thing. It's messing me up every time. Doesn't matter. Sorry, it should have been the 3 U's. Oh, gotcha. Sometimes I just pull this shit out of my unholy undead ass it has. Okay, that's okay. You always give an inspiration message, and we appreciate it. All right. Thanks for the people sharing the show already. That would include Resolute Germ. Is that, for a second I thought that was Junkyard Dog, but that's not Junkyard Dog. Who the hell is that dude? That's a big old dude, big old brother, because I knew it was the Junkyard Dog because that belt wouldn't have fit around his waist. But thank you, Resolute Germ, on doing that, and TC sharing the show. Thank you, Renee Mayette, also sharing the show with the big let's go. Appreciate it. Mr. X51, thank you, doing the same. And Tyre Alexander with the daily woo for Brick Flair. There you go. Oh, and people retweeting include Banks. What up, Banks? If you're here, hello. Tyre Alexander, K-Show, a.k.a. Kirsten, and Resolute Germ. So thanks to the people sharing the show. Everyone share the show. I'm going to remove that pinned comment, though. I don't know why. I'm going to unpin it. And there we go. So, it is hump day. Let's see. Hang on a second. Let's see. I got distracted by the breaking news, and we'll come to that very shortly. Let me just do some housekeeping here, because we do have to do the important stuff. And it is hump day. Wait, first, we got our first sponsor today. Thank you, Avocados Diablo, and you are the new Streamlab Superstar sponsor of the day. Who says, Avocados Diablo says, what's wrong with my first thought whenever there is a shooting is whether they are right or left-handed. That seems like an important detail to me. Okay, let me give one of these. Yeah, that's hilarious. That is kind of funny, actually. All right, let me just get to the prelim stuff. Just let more people get here. It is hump day. And so I'm going to scroll down the old hump day trending topic on X until I can't anymore. So someone here says the secret Republican plot to make liberals look like idiots, known as Operation Just Let Them Speak, is working. Well, that's a special. That's funny. And then we got this, the way this dog is comforting the kid. Good Wednesday, happy hump day. Yeah, that's cute. Okay. Oh, this one's safe, even though I had to look first. Happy hump day to those celebrated. What are you going to get 1% better today? Well, geez, her buttock sticking out there. Now here's one that's not for the liberals. Let's see. Happy hump day. Jimmy Kimmel's late night. Jimmy Kimmel's a late night legend. Oh, wait. That wasn't a joke. A late night legend slaying with the truth and laughs. Suspension be damned. Meanwhile, Trump's Tylenol speech is a conspiracy-fueled dumpster fire, scaring moms with debunked autism claims. Science begs to differ. Don. Well, look, if you ever happen to read Tylenol labels, and in fact, they had a big warning in, I think it was 2017. Someone said that this morning on Monkey Show. 2017, they had a label on, or a warning on Tylenol that pregnant mothers shouldn't take it, should avoid taking it. So at least someone at Tylenol knew that that was probably the case. Now, it wasn't about autism, but whatever. And honestly, really, you should probably avoid putting lots of different kinds of drugs in your body while you're pregnant. Although, you know, a smoke and a martini once in a while isn't going to hurt nothing, right? Anyway, let's see. What else we got? Is this? Oh, well, that's a little close. I'm going to scroll real fast past that one. Because it's just a little too close. Good morning and beautiful cells. Have a wonderful hump day. 100-year-old World War II veteran does a pull-up on an 88mm giant cat. What?
100 years old.
He's 100 years old doing this. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Let's see that again. He's 100 years old, does a pull-up on a cannon. Okay, that's something. That's wild. That's pretty cool. All right, someone here. Happy hump day. Charlie Kirk was 100 times the man that Jimmy Kimmel is. Here's just a fake hump day AI photo, but still some eye candy-ish stuff. And for a second, I thought this one was naked, but she's actually got a dress on. It's just very almost flesh-colored dress. And you can go pretty far today. Oh, Betty gets soaked with semen. That's funny. Hello, Darren Root. No relation to this particular meme, but that's cute. And then let's see. Oh, this is interesting. Good morning and happy hump day. I guess you heard by now that tomorrow's showdown with Jeffries and Schumer was canceled by the president. Blows an abbreviated list of their blackmail/demands to avoid a government shutdown. I don't know about you, but I say. So apparently, yeah, they were talking about how they were going to make these demands, and Trump decided that they're not going to deal with it. And so now people are saying Trump is pro-shutdown. They're threatening to shut down the government of the United States unless they can have over $1 trillion in new spending to continue free health care for illegal aliens at monumental cost, force taxpayers to fund transgender surgery for minors, have dead people on Medicaid rolls, and allow illegal alien criminals to steal billions of dollars of American taxpayer benefits, try to force our country again to open our borders to criminals and to the world, allow men to play women's sports, and essentially create transgender operations for everybody. These radical left views and policies are what allowed me to win the presidential election, including all 7 swing states. Okay, that's what Trump said, I guess, on Truth Social, and so somebody copied and pasted that. I don't know how much of that is true and how much is not, but you know they do want some crazy shit from the Democrats. Hello, Green Badger Outdoors, by the way. And still safe on the hump. Oh, then I found it. I can't go any lower than that because you might see. How would I phrase this? You might see someone's butthole. We don't want to see any buttholes on my channel. All right. Good morning, Rick Ashbringer. How are you doing? All right. And then, and then the other happy hump day, we'll just skip that. And then the holidays today, National Horchata Day. So, okay. I didn't know. Is that here or is that in Mexico? You know what horchata is, right? That cinnamon milky drink, whatever, that they serve at Mexican restaurants in Mexico. It's actually very tasty stuff, but I didn't know we had a National Horchata Day. National Punctuation Day. Oh, if you do text messages or X, F that. National Cherries Jubilee Day. I'm not exactly 100% know. Is Cherry Jubilee kind of like Bananas Foster's, but with cherries? Kind of like that. Is that right? I don't know. Bluebird Happiness Day. Let's make all the bluebirds happy. Make sure your bird feeders are full. World Bollywood Day. If you like some Bollywood movies, there you go. And Shankfelder Thanksgiving. I have no idea what that is. All right, those are the holidays for today. Enough of that shit. Let's get into the breaking news. And I saw it this morning when I got on X. Dallas ice was trending, And this is now the Independent, which I don't know if this is the Independent, like the one that's out of the Great Britain that's owned by the same people as the New York Times. But when I read this, breaking Dallas ICE shooting, and they start out with a white male opened fire on ICE detainees from a rooftop at a Dallas facility. At least 3 victims are in critical condition. Authorities confirm the shooter is dead. Investigation ongoing into motives and possible accomplices. And look, I know that this shit even annoys me, and I'm a black man. Where they will, they'll identify someone immediately if it fits their narrative. But oh boy, don't name any demographic information about anything that's not a white male. I don't know why it even bothers me, but I notice it every time. So here's some. Let's start with this report here. Or is there any sound with this report? We'll find out.
Lawrence, and that's why I mentioned that Sally Port. So apparently it occurred when detainees were being brought into this Sally Port. This shooter, we're not sure exactly where he was located, but was able to shoot into that Sally Port and struck at least 3 people. That shooter now is down from this self-inflicted wound, so we may not know exactly what his plan was, what they were intending to do, other than to shoot people this morning at an ICE facility. We're learning more as we get it. And particularly, we're interested, obviously, in learning about the conditions of the 3 individuals that were struck this morning.
Yeah, that's I-35. The east side is where you see most of the traffic.
Apparently
People
2
are probably
have
slowing
passed.
down to watch and see what's going on. Look at all of the police cars. There's so many.
Now, note it here, too. If you listen to that report, we don't know who they were shooting at, but we do know who they hit. Okay? We know who they hit. But it says as detainees were being transported into the facility. So a lot of people are going to immediately jump to the conclusion that they were aiming for detainees. Well, we don't know that. And we don't know if they were aiming, but they may have been. They may have been aiming at detainees, or they may have been aiming at the officers bringing the detainees into the facility. So everyone, I guarantee you, if I'm going to go on scroll on this topic, and everyone's going to be jumping to conclusions. But here, let's finish this report.
So many lights that go all the way up to the top.
By the way, her marveling, all the police cars. Oh my gosh. Duh! How stupid. How stupid.
This is the access road in Texas. You have your main highway, and then you always have those access roads that run alongside or parallel to the highway.
Hey, Griff, I also noticed that some people are reporting the sniper was on a rooftop. Have you heard that?
So we don't have that
I've
confirmed
heard that too.
ourselves, but I'm talking directly
to
to ICE authorities, and we're going to learn more about that. But I did see a local report that there would be a rooftop. And Brian, as you look at both the map,
apparently this is the commentary on Fox and Friends. But I'm still laughing though that they identified the white male, in the first 3 words. Gee, that seems interesting. As I scroll through, here's, what is this? I don't know. This is just someone driving by showing all the cop cars there. This is showing where it is on the map. And again, another photo from the Texas Department of Transportation of what's going on at the building. So as we scroll through this topic, both sides are doing this shit, though. So this is someone named Reverend Ben Johnson. 3 days ago, Gavin Newsom yelled, "To ICE unmask. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of?" 3 people shot by a sniper at a Dallas ICE facility this morning have this answer. No, we don't. We don't have any answers yet. This just happened. This has happened within the last hour or so. Good morning, Jackals Freinstein. How you doing? Breaking, active shooters opened fire at ICE facility in Dallas. At least 3 injured. Police are searching for a sniper overlooking the building. So this is before they found the man dead. This is what happened when Democrats demonize law enforcement and glorify lawlessness. Dallas is run by Democrats, and now ICE officers are under attack in their own city. Pray for the injured, pray for justice. Premature! Premature! And again, the people who were injured were detainees, not the officers transporting the detainees. We don't know for sure who's shooting at who. Okay? But we'll find out eventually, and then everyone on one side or the other will rejoice and be able to use that as fodder, and the other side will be rejoice. If it's the other side, they'll rejoice. Look, there's been vitriol towards ICE, and there's been vitriol towards illegal criminal aliens, which now I can kind of understand the vitriol at the criminal aliens, especially if they are criminal aliens who've done shitty things to people, or, you know, maybe it's someone whose daughter has been violated by a criminal alien. We don't know. We have no idea who the shooter is yet, but boy, oh boy, everyone's jumping on to be able to push their agenda. Yes, odds are in favor of a leftist. That's what I would think. I would think just because detainees were hit, if they were being transported, that's probably, I mean, who's going to shoot on an ICE facility? Who's more likely to shoot at an ICE facility? Someone who supports the detention of illegal aliens, or the opposite? Which is more likely? But we'll find out. All of these horrific events like Dallas ICE facility are Trump's fault. He's getting more people killed and creating more havoc in the U.S. than any other group of people. He's doing this. How? How is he doing it? So see, there's a person using it the other way. Blaming it on Trump. How? In fact, this morning, as I was finishing up, where is it? As I was finishing this up, I found a Krasenstein. Now, this is hilarious. Hilarious is a relative term. So, Brian Krasenstein has already put this up. This is sick. A white male in capital letters. Again, hey, Brian.
You're fucking a white male!
Has reportedly opened fire at immigrants at an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas. We certainly have a problem in this country, a disgusting problem. How do you know he was aiming at the immigrants? How do you know? Just because the people were being transported to an ICE facility. Who was he shooting at? You know, if you're on a roof 100 yards away and you fire bullets into some people being transported, you might not hit your target. How do you know that he opened fire at immigrants? We don't know yet. I'm sure this is Krasenstein's. This is the uglier twin of the identical Krasensteins. This is horrible. I'm sure MAGA will celebrate that, though. Really? Why would someone who is against illegal immigration fire into an ICE facility where detainees are being transported? Doesn't make logical sense. But his brother, replying to the uglier twin brother, posts this. I won't be like MAGA. I won't blame all of MAGA for this. If this was a Trump supporter, I won't declare MAGA to be a domestic terror organization either, which his repliers are saying why they are. Now, 1 minute later, Ed, again, after saying, I won't be like MAGA. I won't blame all of MAGA for this if this was a Trump supporter. 1 minute later, what does he post? Breaking. According to reports, 3 ICE detainees were shot, with 2 confirmed dead and 1 injured at a Dallas ICE facility. This is Donald Trump's America. Holy shit. Right after he said, I won't blame all of MAGA. This is Donald Trump's America. Let me just tell you something here. Let's say this is an ICE facility. Yes, well, detainees were hit. The report was as some detainees were being transported by ICE to the ICE facility, the shooter shot into them, and the people who were hit happened to be the detainees. That's all I know. I don't know anything for sure. Good morning, Sure You Gospel, Eric Coley DeStefano, and Blue-Eyed Scream, who was already here. We don't know. And these guys are claiming the shooter identified as a white man
You're fucking a white
was found
male.
dead on the roof of a nearby building from a self-inflicted gunshot. No ICE officers reported injured. The exact identities of the victims have not been publicly disclosed, and details remain limited as the investigation is ongoing. We don't know who they were aiming at. Anyone else talking about this? Okay, this is under the different part. So let's go back to the Dallas ICE topic. Let me see. I'm going to refresh this and see what else we can find out. Let's see. Let's see if we can get any other reports. Now this one says, I can tell you who didn't kill detainees of the Dallas ICE facility. It wasn't Antifa. You don't know that either. You don't know the other one. Oh, and yet another white male committing an act of terrorism in the United States, shooting detainees at an ICE facility. I think it's time we address the white male violence problem we have in this country. They were attacking. Oh, now here in Posobiec, this is sick. Many of those on the right are now blaming leftists for the murders at the Dallas ICE facility. Immigrants were killed by a white guy. Disgusting. Yes. Detainees who were being transported. Now, I don't think anyone should be saying, I mean, people are going to speculate, obviously, but we don't know who the shooter was shooting at. We do not know who the shooter was shooting at. If they were detainees being transported, that means there were both ICE agents and detainees in the mix. But Prosobiec is wrong for assuming anything, and Krasenstein is wrong for assuming anything. None of you know shit. In fact, let's just do something here. No. Everyone's making assumptions. Hello, Unacceptable Views. Welcome. NZ, you're the hero. I think you were already here. But it's break. Okay, according to reports, yeah. But we do know that the people who were shot were detainees, and everyone's going on this. Another white male has opened fire because the Independent made sure that everyone knew it was a white male. MAG influencers are unusually quiet about the mass shooting victims at the ICE facility. It's kind of a clue to what happened. No, it's not. Oh, good God. People who were being transported by ICE agents were the ones who ended up getting shot. So anyway, we don't know who we don't know. We'll find out eventually. But again, it's so funny how everyone is focusing on the fact that it was a white male. Okay, yeah, it was a white male. We never get that on shootings in other parts of the country, though. We never get the demographic of the shooter unless it's a white male. And believe me, there are. Well, if you actually look at the databases of mass shootings, the mass shooting database, it's pretty 50-50 as far as white males and other non-white males, as far as mass shootings go. But every time there's a mass shooting, we know that we'll immediately know the race of the shooter if it is a white male. And I'm a black dude. That doesn't affect me because I know they're not shitting on me. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And there are plenty of white men on the left, Rick Ashbringer. That's true too. So anyway, if you're wondering why CNN is not covering the Dallas ICE shooting, instead they are interviewing a Washington Post opinion writer who was fired after her Charlie Kirk comment and seeking to sue. Why? You don't have a right to be employed. Breaking, and CNN and NBC confirm all 3 victims of the Dallas ICE shooting were detainees. 2 of them were confirmed dead. Kristi Noem rushed to Twitter to try to use the shooting at Dallas ICE facility to score political points, but local news is now reporting that it was detainees who shot, not ICE agents. Okay. So anyway, I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about this all day long. Maybe we'll get some information on why the shooting was, what the motivation for the shooting was. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Who knows? But we have no idea. People also blaming the left. Last night, Gavin Newsom goes on a hyperbolic rant about Donald Trump and ICE kidnapping brown people off the streets of America. Hours later, multiple people shot by a sniper at an ICE facility in Dallas. Here's the other part of this, too. I know you all see snipers in the movies and on TV that have pinpoint accuracy about how they're shooting. As any person who's a deer hunter, though, would know, hitting a target moving from far away, you're probably not going to hit exactly where you aimed. You may be aiming for the heart of the deer, but you might hit it in the buttock or the shoulder or the leg or not at all. Sniper shooting on TV is not the same as sniper shooting in real life. There are some damn good military snipers out there that certainly would hit specific targets. But if this guy shot into a bunch of people and enough to shoot 3 people, firing 3 rounds or whatever, or however, we don't know how many rounds were shot either. That's the other part. But if they're shooting at an ICE facility trying to hit either ICE agents or detainees, they might hit something that they weren't aiming for. So we don't know why it was just the fact that even saying, well, 3 detainees were shot. Well, where would they have shot detainees? Inside the building, because these people are acting like, oh, they were aiming for detainees. How? Inside the building? Because the only way they'd be hitting detainees outside a building is if they were being transported by ICE agents. You can't just shoot into the inside of the building from a rooftop somewhere else. So all these people need to shut the fuck up. We'll get information later. And it's, there you go. Yeah, so in conclusion, the guy was an awful shot. No, we don't even know what kind of rifle he's using. If you're shooting from 50 yards away, you could be aiming at someone's head and hit the buddy that's running behind him instead. This is not TV. This is not Call of Duty on video games. So, the left is already claiming the sniper shooting at Dallas ICE facility was a MAGA shooting at detainees, not the ICE agents. Because, yeah, that's the funny thing too. The heinous act of violence is unfolding in Dallas, where ICE officers have been deliberately targeted by a gunman, possibly a sniper. Amy and I are praying for the victims and for every man and woman in uniform. Let me be clear, demonizing our law enforcement has consequences. Dangerous rhetoric against those who protect our communities fuels violence like this. Our officers deserve respect, support, and gratitude, not to be painted as villains or targets. This attack is an attack on law and order itself. It must be condemned without hesitation. That's from Wesley Hunt. Again, we don't know for sure who the shooter was shooting at. But we do know that detainees got shot, and detainees don't need to be shot either. They need to be deported, not shot, or go to court or something. So anyway, all these horrific events like Dallas ICE facility or Trump. Why is it Trump's fault though? This is I don't get. But now everyone's doing the blame game. This person's blaming Tim Walz. Dallas shooter shot into an unmarked van. It was an unmarked van?
My source is now telling me the shooter fired into an unmarked van. The van was transporting the detainees. The detainees were struck inside of that van. Again, my source is now...
So that's another source. So now someone struck in. So this guy just shot at the ICE van. We don't know who he was shooting at. We don't even know if he knew there were detainees in the van. Amazing. Here's let's see. This is, oh good God, what is this? If we
deported MAGA men aged 17 to 50 and replaced them with immigrants, the violent crime rate would drop 70 to 80%.
That's a lie. That's bullshit. That's someone who did an AI thing. MAGA's gone awfully quiet about the Dallas ICE shooting now that it turns out detainees were murdered. People shot in an unmarked ICE van. Who was the shooter shooting at? We don't know. Pray. We don't know. We don't know who they were shooting at. Now they're saying, oh, they were shot into an unmarked ICE van. Interesting. Left wing, he's a piece of shit. Right. Oh, this is the one I like, though. Listen to this. This is what liberals don't understand. If the Dallas shooter was left wing, he's a piece of shit. If he was right wing, he's a piece of shit. If you think shooting ICE agents is cool, you're a piece of shit. If you think shooting ICE detainees, they said immigrants, ICE detainees is cool, you're a piece of shit. It's not hard. Oh, I'm retweeting that. Motherfuckers. Homeland Security this morning. Outside the sealed office, there was a shooting resulting in multiple injuries and fatalities. The shooter died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. This violence against our ICE law enforcement must stop. Please keep the victims and their families in your thoughts and prayers, even if they are detainees. Even if they are detainees. Who's this?
Director, thank you for being here. I want to say, you were coming in, we were talking to you anyway. Obviously, this event has sort of subsumed what we were going to discuss. What can you tell us about this incident in Dallas?
Yeah, literally, as I was coming here, we were notified that there were shots fired at our Dallas field office. Right now, preliminary information is a possible sniper. We have 3 individuals that are down at this time. We're not sure on their condition. They've been taken to the hospital. We're hearing some reports that the shooter may be down from the Texas Department of Public Safety.
Okay, we know that for a fact now.
Secure, you know, obviously right now.
Hello, Gun Fox.
My hearts and prayers are going out to my officers and agents. That's my biggest concern, and as well as everyone in that area. But this just shows the violence that's being increased against ICE officers and agents. This is the second time now we've had a shooting at one of our facilities in the Dallas area, and really, it's just a sad time that we have to worry about violence against law enforcement.
So you're hearing, the reports you're hearing at this point are coming from inside your offices in Dallas at ICE. You're hearing directly from them?
Yeah, we're hearing directly from the leadership on the ground there. The building is on lockdown, building secure. Initial reports are that our offices are accounted for, but there are 3 individuals that are shot.
Are the 3 individuals ICE employees?
We're still working on that right now. Obviously, it's really chaotic. Dallas Police Department's been great. They're on scene. It's a large police presence there right now. You know, it could be employees, it could be civilians that were visiting facility, it could be detainees. At this point, we're still working through that. We do know that 3 have definitely been shot. They're en route to the hospital right now. We had great support from locals on the ground that are helping us look for the active shooter. And like I said, right before I just walked on set, I got word that the shooter is down from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
And we don't know what he was aiming at. But it doesn't really matter. In any scenario, the shooter is a piece of shit. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Doesn't matter who. But everyone's, everyone's all excited. All excited. Sniper fired shots at an ICE facility in Dallas. All of the victims were detainees. Now that you could take this one either way. You could take this one either way. My heart breaks for the victims of this morning's shooting at a Dallas ICE facility. On top of enduring this administration's cruel and inhumane immigration policy, these families now have seen loved ones killed or injured in a violent and awful way. While we wait for more information, it's clear our country is on the middle of a gun crime crisis, and I urge our leaders to take action immediately. Who's this John Bad and Breaking? Did NBC News false story contribute to ICE sniper attack in Dallas? NBC's vile lie exposed as they were forced to retract false story that ICE used 5-year-old autistic girl as bait. Oh, remember that one? Oh my God. That they did retract the story. So this is something NBC did yesterday. ICE held a 5-year-old autistic girl in Massachusetts to pressure her father to surrender. Says family. Smears are sick. Our ICE agents never used a 5-year-old girl as bait. The criminal illegal alien target of the operation with previous arrest for domestic abuse, strangulation, and vandalizing property abandoned his own child in a car. Ever hit Maya, a criminal illegal alien from Guatemala, ignored law enforcement emergency lights and darted inside his house, abandoning his 5-year-old daughter in the car. Officers helped rescue the child and called local police to report the abandonment. Stop the smear, stop the lies. And one of the reasons they were, apparently some woman was off the side screaming that, oh, that's my daughter. Well, they didn't know if it was her daughter. She wasn't in the car with them, and they weren't going to give her just to some random woman without being able to identify who the child belonged to. Absolutely not. ICE agents never used a 5-year-old girl as bait. What a disgusting smear. This is the disgusting smears like these peddled by the media are leading to a 1,000% increase in assaults against our brave law enforcement. So, we know who was hit. Now we know who was hit. Do we know who the shooter was aiming at? Hello, select a boy.
Yeah, boy.
So, but everyone's jumping all over this. Everyone's jumping all over this. And again, this guy, at least 3 people have been injured at an ICE facility in Dallas, Texas after a sniper opened fire. Antifa and violent leftists are targeting ICE facilities. This is terrorism. We don't know that yet. We don't know that yet, but it seems like that would be more likely than the other way around. Why would a person who supports ICE getting detainees shoot at an ICE facility? Doesn't make sense. Catching up with the shooting in Dallas, so 2 detainees immigrants were shot by some deranged person. Advanced Gnome and all the MAGA are framing it as an attack on ICE agents. And again, what is more likely? Someone who supports the work ICE is doing, randomly firing into an ICE van, or someone who is against ICE, randomly shooting into an ICE van? So it's fascinating watching people just jump all over this. And everyone's got their conclusions. Oh, this is interesting. My video and pics behind the Dallas ICE building taken from next door apartment complex exit. So this person has been running around taking photos and video of the ICE facility.
This is the facility. Here is this. Oh, wow.
So if you're on a roof far away, do you know who the people getting out of an ICE van are? How do you know who's who? And, you know, I don't know. This is crazy. So everyone on the left, because there were detainees, they said the shooter was shooting at detainees. Can we just agree that a bad guy killed 3 detainees at an ICE facility? No other labels needed. A bad person did it. Well, everyone's rushing out to make their political statement now. Everyone's pretty disgusting. The devil is always in the details. That's why the information of the okay, that is nothing there. Oh, ICE arrests major Muslim Brotherhood figure in Dallas just hours before shooting at the same facility. Thank you, Gunbox. Drop a 222 in the tip jar saying, remember, folks, only you can help stop communism. Communism rots the brain and is worse than drugs. Report all communists to your local federal agency. Yes, thank you, Gunbox. So, we'll have more news on that tomorrow, I'm sure. I'm sure they'll, by tomorrow, since it was a white male, we'll know everything about him by, you know, maybe within the next few hours, we'll know everything about the shooter. So anyway, detainees is also trending because it was detainees that were shot. It's funny though, this IndieWire saying that the white male opened fire on ICE detainees. How do we know? How do we know? How do we know the shooter was firing at detainees if he shot into an unmarked van at the facility? If I could type worth the shit. How do we know the shooter was firing at detainees if he shot into him? We don't know. Okay, let's move on. We'll get more of this tomorrow. Other things happening in the world today, other than this shooting. Theo Von is trending, the comedian, podcaster, whatever the hell he is. Apparently, Homeland Security used Theo Von's likeness in some kind of well, here, let's just show you. Here's what they used his face in here and his likeness and his words in a video. What is this about?
Heard you got deported, dude. Bye.
So they're touting the fact that they deported 2 million people so far. Oh, I see. 1,600 self-deported and or 1,600,000 self-deported and 400,000 deportations. Now I won't play the rest of it, but the point here being that Theo Von did not authorize this. He posted this. Yo, DHS, I did not approve to be used in this. I know you know my address, so send a check. And please take this down. And please keep me out of your banger deportation videos. When it comes to immigration, my thoughts and heart are a lot more nuanced than this video allows. Bye. He's not happy about it. I don't blame him. Don't use people's likeness or anything like that without asking their permission, and they should know better. So anyway, yeah, that's good. Thank you, Pope Tyrannius III, who is now the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Pope Tyre says, have an official statement for the church. As Pope, I urge everyone to wait 7 days for the truth to get its pants on and out the door. Truth is kind of old, and he isn't as fast as his baby brother Lies, who won't sit the fuck down and chill. Chat. Yes. 100%. You know, this is going to require at least a 2 or 3 day rule, right? I mean, sometimes I have I used to have the 48-hour rule, but this might take 2 or 3 days until they figure out what the hell's going on. Moving on, also trending, Ryan Ralph or Ruth or whatever, the guy who was supposedly attempting to shoot Donald Trump from the golf course or on the golf course. He was sentenced yesterday, and as he was being sentenced, the guilty verdict was, or no, sorry, got the verdict yesterday, guilty, and apparently he tried to stab himself in the neck with a pen. Attempted Trump assassin Ryan Ruth tried to stab himself in the neck with a pen when his guilty verdict was read. According to reports from the courtroom, Ruth picked up his pen as jurors were leaving the courtroom and started trying to stab himself, prompting marshals to pull him out of the courtroom, according to the Associated Press. Marshals shackled him at the waist and ankles before bringing Ralph back to the courtroom, according to Fox News. Dad, I love you. Don't do anything, his daughter Sarah Ruth screamed, according to the AP. I'll get you out. He didn't hurt anybody. Ruth's daughter ran out of the courtroom in tears, swearing at the media. Get the fuck out of my face, she says. So anyway, a federal jury convicted him, Ryan Wesley Ruth of Hawaii, in attempting to assassinate President Donald Trump. So he's trending, and apparently his daughter, also, by the way, his son, almost simultaneously, has been arrested. Where's the picture of his son? His son got arrested for some kind of freaky deaky shit. Ryan Ruth, son arrested. Oh, do y'all remember Ryan Ruth's son being arrested for having, did he have CP? Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He got arrested for something. I don't know why they were saying, do you remember? Oh, he was sentenced to 7 years in prison. Okay. Good for him. But yeah, the daughter is saying that, oh my gosh, he's innocent. He didn't do anything. And let's see, you have to feel some compassion for Ryan Ruth's daughter. Democrats made her father mentally ill. He only followed their words in hate and went to hurt the president. She won't ever see her father outside of prison again, being his age. Democrats create these people and pay no price. So she's saying that she's going to get him out. Let's see, here's the headline at somewhere. Ryan Ruth's daughter speaks out about the trial. Disturbing details about Ryan Ruth's son and child porn charges, who he was just sentenced to 7 years. So, don't know if they'll end up in the same prison, but actually, Dad probably doesn't want to be in the same prison with son. Not with that conviction. I don't think so. All right, moving on. Tylenol still trending. Apparently, a lot. They had this thing about Tylenol, and I didn't watch the press conference, whatever, with Trump and Robert Kennedy Jr. Some say it was ridiculous. Some saying they were just saying there's a correlation and be cautious. But here's something from Tylenol back in 2017. Tylenol, July 3rd, 2017. We actually don't recommend using any of our products while pregnant. Thank you for taking the time to voice your concerns today. So, whatever reason that was, whatever. Someone here says, for every person who discredits our story, for every political joke I see, for every laugh at Tylenol it causes autism like it's some kind of punchline, I see you. It's disheartening, especially when some of you are friends and family. This isn't a joke for me. This isn't politics. This is my child's life. What was said yesterday was not Tylenol causes autism. What was said is that autism can be triggered by multiple factors: environmental, toxic load, medical, genetic vulnerabilities. That's what I've been silently screaming for years, and no one wants to listen. Now, for the first time, an administration has acknowledged out loud what so many parents like me have lived, researched, and fought to understand. Yet, instead of hearing the message, so many are quick to dismiss it simply because of who it came from and how it was delivered. I need you to understand how discouraging that is. Our children deserve better than politics. Our families deserve better than eye rolls and jokes. We deserve to be heard because this is bigger than sides. This is about truth. This is about our kids. Mock me if you want, but you'll never silence me. I'll fight louder, harder, and longer than your ignorance ever could. Tracy Lane Manis, who is, I don't know if she is part of this, but message from a parent who saw this information yesterday. But there's, oh my God, all over the internets and the tubes, there are people out there mocking the idea that, oh, gee, don't put substances in your body that you don't need to during your pregnancy. That's shocker that you might not want to do that. So there's that. And then along with that, autism is also trending. I don't necessarily need to go through this. If you want to go through these threads and hear everyone's opinion on this, feel free. The UN is trending. I guess Donald Trump was speaking at the UN. And in the Breitbart article here says he blasted the United Nations for funding an assault on Western countries and borders with mass migration. It's not necessarily working out great for some of the Western European nations, is it? And there's a lot of problems, but the United Nations is funding an assault on Western countries, President Donald Trump said at the UN annual convention on Tuesday. In his address, the president accused weak Western nations of destroying their own countries through mass migration, with the UN playing a central role. Quote, "The number one potential issue of our time is the crisis of uncontrolled migration," he exclaimed. "Your countries are being ruined." He added, "The United Nations is funding an assault on Western countries and their borders." The president then laid out the material support that the United Nations gave to these invading illegals who flooded borders by the hundreds of millions across the world. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to support migrants journeying into the United States. The UN also provided food, shelter, transportation, and debit cards to illegal aliens on the way to infiltrate our southern border. What took place is totally unacceptable. The UN is supposed to stop invasions, not create them and finance them, he continued. In the United States, we reject the idea that mass numbers of people from foreign lands can be permitted to travel halfway around the world, trample our borders, violate our sovereignty, cause unmitigated crime, and deplete our social safety nets. We have reasserted that America belongs to the American people, and I encourage all countries to take their own stance in defense of their citizens as well. Some people found this refreshing, and of course the usual suspects hated it. Now, interesting thing about this, teleprompter is trending because of this, because apparently a couple malfunctions happened at the UN while Donald Trump was there. First, he was about to get on an escalator, and the escalator stopped working. So he and his wife and everyone else had to walk up the long flight of stairs that was the escalator. And then also during his speech, the teleprompter broke. And so some people are saying things like broken escalator, broken teleprompter, broken president. Well, look, now I want you to imagine something. Now, pretend it's, let's say 2 years ago. Let's go back a whole 2 years. And imagine if the president of the United States 2 years ago would have had a speech at the UN and the teleprompter malfunctioned. How do you think that would have gone? Because Donald Trump spoke for 55 minutes without a teleprompter. Now, it's funny because his speech was supposed to be 15 minutes long, but he went 55 minutes because the teleprompter didn't work. Hello, Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadians in the house. What's up? So, do you think Joe Biden could have done that 2 years ago? I'm just saying, I don't think so. Anyway, Poetic Justice, someone thought it would be funny to break the escalator as soon as Trump stepped on it. Presumably the same people broke his teleprompter as he began his 15-minute speech. Due to the malfunction, Trump extended his speech an additional 40 minutes. Those who sought to silence him were awarded with almost an hour of solid gold from the president. If you want to listen to it, here's a minute that they said solid gold from the president. Let's hear this minute of solid gold.
No president or prime minister, and for that matter, no other country has ever done anything close to that. And I did it in just 7 months. It's never happened before. There's never been anything like that. I'm very honored to have done it. It's too bad that I had to do these things instead of the United Nations doing them. And sadly, in all cases, the United Nations
I don't know what he's talking
did
about.
not even try to help in any of them. I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen, but she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's funny.
And by the way, it's working
Oh,
now. It just went on. Thank you.
so people are laughing about that. The one meme here is, when your wife knows that by cutting your teleprompter, they're going to have to listen to you ramble on for an extra hour about whatever comes to your mind. She got a good kick out of that. So that's the things trending. Moving on, Ukraine is trending because something Donald Trump said yesterday that that caught people's ears. Trump says that Ukraine can fight back and win back all of its territory with EU support. President Trump said on Truth Social post on Tuesday that he believes Ukraine, with the backing of the European Union and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, aka NATO, can fight and win back all its land. Trump, who attended the United Nations General Assembly in New York on Tuesday, wrote in a post that he believes Ukraine is in a potentially winning position. The president took a shot at Russia, calling the country a paper tiger that has been fighting aimlessly after getting to know and fully understand the Ukraine-Russian military and economic situation, and after seeing the economic trouble it's causing Russia. I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form. With time, patience, and the financial support of Europe, and in particular NATO, the original borders from where this war started, is very much an option. Why not? Trump wrote. That's interesting, because notice he didn't say with help from the United States of America. He said with help from Europe and NATO, which of course the United States is part of. But I wonder if those drones going into Poland had anything to do with it. But also he met with Zelensky again. So that's interesting. Hello, Reaction Puerto Rico. So let's keep an eye on that. The other thing here, by the way, everything is fine. Russia is apparently banning gas and diesel exports all of a sudden. Oh, are they running out of fuel for their war? Look, Russia's a gas station masquerading as a country, said Senator John McCain famously a decade ago, shortly after the country's 2014 invasion of Ukraine. Nothing has changed since there. It's kleptocracy, it's corruption, it's a nation that's really only dependent upon oil and gas for their economy, and so economic sanctions are important. That's what John McCain said. Well, there are sanctions, and then there are sanctions. Kinetic sanctions, the darkly humorous phrase for Kiev's ongoing offensive against Russian energy production and distribution. And if a new report from Russia is correct, it appears to be having quite some effect. Relevant departments are discussing extension of the ban on the export of gasoline from Russia and the introduction of a ban on the export of diesel fuel until the end of 2025, Russian-based Kommersant reported Tuesday. This was reported by TASS with reference to a source in the industry. Forgive any awkwardness, but this is a Russian language report auto-translated by Safari. Nothing is final yet, of course, but the report noted that retail gasoline prices have increased by more than 7% since the beginning of the year, overtaking inflation by 1.5 times. Now, contrast that to here. Have you seen gas prices go up at all the entire summer? You know how they were worried? We were been worried all about inflation and everything all summer. And I still, in my town, have not paid over $3 a gallon of gas the entire summer. It's still at the same price basically it was in the winter, which usually when the prices are lower anyway. And I'm like, wow, I haven't had a summer like that in 5 years, 6 years. I drive a lot in the summer. Lady Boomer and I we're road warriors. We're always out taking little trips wherever we go. On the weekends, 1-day trips, 2-day trips, whatever. This has been, since Trump was in office last, this has been the cheapest summer yet. Definitely in the last 4 years. So that's an interesting thing, right? So, before I move on, thank you, TC, dropping a 6 spot in the tip jar, and you now are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Wait. Is that right? Yes, TV the stuffed squirrel. Says, boy, getting cotton stuffed in me can change a man. What? What? TC the stuffed squirrel. Boy, getting cotton stuffed in me can change a man. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're a great American. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Okay. So anyway, yeah, Russia's having problems. You know what? When they accidentally, we don't know if it was accidentally, but accidentally sent those drones into Poland, that may have been a big mistake for them, because Poland went on high alert, has their troops at the border. They invoked Article 5, where all of NATO would be in support of Poland, because Poland's part of NATO. Not a good move. And the fact that they thought this war that they were just going to be able to go into Ukraine and take this, and Ukraine's gotten help, it's not good. I don't know. Russia's kind of, maybe it's kind of like when they went into Afghanistan back in the 90s, and the Afghanis were like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. Of course, we helped the Taliban and shit, but whatever. Good morning, Alan Thaler. Nice to have you in the chat. Welcome. All right, next. Oh God, I'm running out of time, and I got to talk about Jimmy Kimmel. HBCU is trending, which is the historically black colleges and universities is trending because of something that happened. So, since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I've noticed a lot of videos and whatever on YouTube and whatever X of people going to different campuses, kind of replacing Charlie Kirk and just doing their own little change my mind or let's talk or whatever. And the reason HBCU is trending today, I'm going to give you two different versions of this. I'm going to give you this HBCU alum report about something, and then I'm going to give you a different report because it's fascinating how different people see different things. Okay? So let's start with this one. This is and Tennessee Holler 2 is a left-wing Nashville, and a left-wing outlet from Nashville. So I'll read these two, and then I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to read you what the people who did what they're saying did. So this one says, MAGA rage baiters came onto an HBCU campus today to start trouble with students. When they got escorted off by security, they turned victim, and their followers are now spamming TSU social media platforms with hateful comments. Stay vigilant, folks. Here's the statement from Tennessee State University. Today, a group of individuals unaffiliated with Tennessee State University appeared on campus without prior notice. In accordance with the university policy, any demonstration or protest activity requires advance approval and permitting. Now, listen, remember those words. Any demonstration or protest activity. Campus police and staff responded promptly, and the individuals were escorted from the university grounds without incident. At all times, TSU students conducted themselves in a professional and respectful manner. The safety and well-being of our students, faculty, and staff remain our highest priorities. TSU will continue to uphold university policies and ensure that campus remains safe and welcoming and orderly environment for all members of our community. So that's what the university said. And again, we read this statement by this person saying, MAGA rage baiters to start trouble with students. Okay. And a similar post by the Tennessee Holler, which again, left-wing outlet. Nashville. 2 guys in red MAGA hats showed up on an HBCU TCU campus uninvited, permitless, and set up a table with signs railing against DEI and undocumented immigrants. Railing. Students confronted them without violence. Police moved them. The NAACP says an intentional effort to antagonize. Let's read the NAACP's report. Oh, it's too small. I can't read that shit. So, now, let's look at Cam Higbee, who was the guy who did it. He says, today, Fearless Debates, that's what they call themselves, tour, tabled at an HBCU, Tennessee State University, and after 10 minutes, a literal riot erupted. Now, we'll see if it's a riot or if it's just some students being jagoffs. They stole our stuff, followed us to our car, attacked the car, shouted Black Power, and blocked our exit of the campus. Our topic was DEI. So here's the video he puts up for that. Let's see this. Okay, it doesn't look like a riot, but it looks like they're taunting them, obviously.
Oh my gosh, they threw a drink up top.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Did somebody just throw something in our car?
Arrest. They just tried to hit the car. They're still hitting the car. Whoa! That was loud.
All right, so, yeah, riot, but no, but obviously these guys were antagonized, right? Now, moving on, let's look at another one here. Let's see, here it is, the Fearless Tour. Here it is. We're here at Tennessee State University in Nashville, the first HBCU that we're visiting on the Fearless Tour. Let's talk. So they set up a table with these signs. DEI should be illegal. Cam Higbee. They put their names, Fearless Debates, deport all illegals now. Let's talk. So they wanted to talk to people. Now, that's pretty bold to do on a HBCU campus. Wouldn't necessarily call it a riot. Oh, let's see. If black students walked onto a mostly white campus with a sign that said most white men in power are pedophiles and rapists, let's debate, we already know who would be labeled wrong, don't we? Well, that's a whole different statement, isn't it, Ms. Wild Wolf? That's a whole different statement, isn't it? I mean, let's talk. Let's have, okay. Granted, those are probably pretty strong, tough topics on a historically black university campus, but damn. Let's see here. MAGA supporters kicked off HBCU Tennessee State University by black students. So this is here's someone reporting it. One of the students reporting on this.
MAGA supporters invaded our HBCU.
Invaded. Interesting. They set up shop and probably should have gotten permission first. That's true.
You called the East primitive for what? We created y'all knowledge. We created y'all science. We created y'all math. Y'all didn't do shit besides steal. Y'all didn't do anything to your... You guys didn't make shit. You guys touched children. You guys fucked.
Showing them the door.
So lots of people yelling at him. Not a riot, but...
We walking them to the door, y'all. I don't even know how they got on campus. We gonna figure that out, but...
How they got on campus, they walked on. I mean, it's not like you're in a prison. I don't want to make any analogies there, but...
I don't know.
How did they get on campus?
Like a trespass, penalty or something, because...
Of course, wait, is this also... It's Tennessee State University, right? Public university? Even though it's historically black college?
Sending them off.
Tell him it's that boy. He thought he was going to come up like Charlie.
Yes. Say good job, TSU.
Good job. Shout out to my school.
Okay, so that's... she's proud of that. Let's see. Try one more here. The party of tolerance strikes again. Okay, we already saw that video. After leaving Tennessee State's HBCU, the student race right mob decided to follow harass. Okay, now wait a minute. Again, it wasn't a riot, but it certainly wasn't friendly. Let's put it that way. Let's put it that way. Oh, this is their security guard that they're harassing. They harassed their security guard who's a black man. That's what they're saying here. Here's what it says. After leaving Tennessee State HBCU, the student race riot mob decided to follow, harass, and corner and touch our security guard. We asked him if he'd like to ride with us, but this badass said he could handle it. Major shout out to all special security for protecting us today. 3 weeks ago, I was in Gaza and felt safer than 10 minutes ago at HBCU. So that's what happened. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Thank you, Avocado State. I'll be another 223 in the tip jar saying, hold on, didn't the school say all protests need to have a permit? So I assume those students had one to protest those guys, LOL. Yeah, good point. Good point. Good point. So apparently that turned into well, not a melee, but you know. 2 white men were attacked. Now this guy doesn't help by saying 2 white men were attacked by a mob of black students at Tennessee State University on Tuesday. The 2 free speech supporters went there to talk to students at the HBCU about DEI. TSU issued a statement afterwards saying the students acted respectful. You be the judge. Well, I wouldn't say it was all that respectful, but yeah, I mean, they knew. Look, I'm sure the guys knew that there was probably a chance that they wouldn't be warm welcomed, but they did just say, "Hey, let's talk." Maybe they should have wrote it. Maybe they should have wrote it in a different way. Who knows? But they didn't deserve to be. Nobody should have been touched, first of all, and the screaming and yelling is probably no fun for them. All right, let's. Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy fucking Kimmel. So he's trending today because he had the big comeback yesterday. He had the big return of the triumphant Jimmy Kimmel, which unfortunately, this just raised his profile. You know, I kind of wish that, well, first of all, I wish nobody in the government had said shit about Jimmy Kimmel. But he went back on his late night show last night and talked about what had happened. What had happened was, is basically what he was, without necessarily apologizing for anything. Like he kind of stepped all around the idea of apologizing. But some people are using this to mock Trump, like the Crassus. This has got to hurt Trump. Jimmy Kimmel, you almost have to feel sorry for him. He did his best to cancel me. Oh, this is Jimmy Kimmel saying this. By the way,
you almost have to feel sorry for him. He did his best to cancel me. Instead, he forced millions of people to watch the show. That backfired bigly. He might have to release the Epstein files to distract us from this now.
Oh, there was a bit of humor in that, but again, he doesn't go for funny lines. He goes for applause lines, which is what he did there. The problem is, yeah, maybe millions of people watched him, but not on half the affiliates that carry CBS. Because Sinclair, who's also trending, Sinclair Broadcasting and a couple of the other, what's the other outlet that the 2 of the companies that have like almost half the CBS affiliates are preempting Jimmy Kimmel's show. So if he did have millions of followers, it was on half the amount of stations, and it's pretty much the only time people are going to tune into Jimmy Kimmel for the rest of the week and maybe the rest of the month or period. You know, no one's watching Jimmy Kimmel on a regular basis going, oh, this is the greatest show ever. Anyway, so let's see. Jimmy returns to this is the Daily Wire, and the headline is Jimmy Kimmel returns, addresses Charlie Kirk comments in a teary non-apology. Yes, he cried for his own sake a couple times. New York Post says the same thing. is their headline. Defiant, emotional Jimmy Kimmel returns to the airways as Trump bashes ABC for bringing non-funny late night hosts back. And they mentioned too that they said the first line, a defiant and emotional Jimmy Kimmel failed yet again to apologize for his false and inflammatory comments about Charlie Kirk's assassination in the late night show host as he returned on the air Tuesday after spending nearly a week in the sidelines. Which is weird. I'm surprised he didn't have a guest host for a show that whole time. I mean, they didn't. That was weird. They just took it off the air. He attempted to clarify his past assertion that Kirk's alleged killer, Tyler Robinson, was likely affiliated with the MAGA movement and teared up while praising the slain conservative activist's wife, Erica Kirk, during his nightly anticipated monologue. You understand that this was never my intention to make light of a murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it, he said in his opening remark, which were interrupted several times by standing ovations from the audience. I understand that some that felt either ill-timed. Oh, now again, this is one of those. It was almost like, well, if you were offended by what I said, it didn't even say I apologize if you were offended. It wasn't even that. It just said, here's the line. I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. Okay, and? While Kimmel did not exactly apologize for his Kirk comments, he noted, I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This is a sick person who believes violence is a solution, and it isn't. Yeah, except you said that the MAGA people wanted to deflect from the fact that he might be one of their own. Anyway, so as much I'd like to talk about this more, there's a couple things here. Let's see, what's Daily Wire? Anyway, what has happened now, though, Kimmel kind of became the martyr for the left and not the dead man who was assassinated by a bullet. So I know it's not Thursday, but FTG, Jimmy Kimmel. FTG, Jimmy. Fuck that guy. All right. Running out of time here. By the way, the articles, the only articles that I have open are about Jimmy Kimmel and the ones that I've already shown you. There's an interesting article in Hollywood in Total, though, talking about how Variety, the entertainment magazine, covered this. Variety says Jimmy Kimmel isn't a movement liberal. Far Left Trade magazine bends the truth just like a certain suspended host. Variety magazine has operated as ABC's de facto PR arm since Jimmy Kimmel's suspension. The overall coverage of Kimmel's week-long timeout, one that ends tonight, suggests the far left outlet is cheering him on, and it's not alone. That culminated with one of Variety's sillier stories in recent memory. Quote, the title of which is How Jimmy Kimmel Became the Most Important Comedian on TV Under Trump 2.0. It's laughable on several levels, but the biggest howler is buried deep in the piece. The lead sets a fawning tone, even one that an ABC flack wouldn't dare pitch. Jimmy Kimmel's return to his talk show on Tuesday night promised to be one of the most massive television moments of the decade. Bigger than the funeral of Charlie Kirk? Yeah, I'm not thinking so. Anyway, never mind the Charlie Kirk Memorial. Oh! Viewed by a reported 20 million people on streaming and cable outlets. From there, it gets worse. First, a straight-up lie. Quote, a show that became the object of conservative ire and FCC threats after a series of jokes, emphasis added last week, pertaining to the aftermath of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now, the line in question that got Kimmel suspended was not a joke, nor was it a series of jokes. It was a bald-faced lie. Quote, we hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. Next, another Variety misdirection. Quote, Kimmel is not, at his core, a political comedian. Oh, my God. Now remember how Kimmel hosted a President Biden fundraiser last year? Finally, Variety offers something that's funnier than whatever Kimmel will uncork during his return monologue tonight. Quote, some segment of the viewing public who might generally disapprove of perceived disrespect to the Kirk story might also be willing to give the benefit of the doubt to a host who does not present as a movement liberal, emphasis added, and who speaks about politics a bit like any old person. When he's not hoping that people who didn't get the COVID vaccine dies. Yes, the man who spends every show eviscerating all things GOP, ignored President Joe Biden's dementia-like condition, and played pussyfoot with Hunter Biden and Cassidy Hutchinson. He isn't a movement liberal. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
This isn't the Daily Kos or some fly-by-night blog. This is Variety, the entertainment magazine. And to preserve Kimmel's career and reputation, the venerable outlet decided to mislead at every step. So why? Well, because they're liberal shitbags. Okay, that's it. Let's see. I got to get rid of a couple links here, and then we'll get out of here. By the way, thanks to other people sharing the show. Let me acknowledge you real quick because I didn't get you earlier. I didn't repost Tyre. What the hell am I doing? Did I not repost any of these? Yes, I did. Okay, thank you. Let's see, someone else there. Mike Savage with the Let Us Go. Yep, there we go. We'll like that. And also Renee Mayette and that's Ms. Wildwolf. Ms. Wildwolf with the Let's Go, the little hockey kid. Green Badger Outdoor with the flying machine, as always. Repost that. Rexion Puerto Rico with this. Yeah. What did you do this to? Oh. How do we know the shooter was firing at detainees if he shot into an unmarked van at the facility? That's damn right. That's me. I said that. Damn it. And then staying in theme with putting Jimmy Kimmel in the GIF as Reaction on Puerto Rico always mirrors what I do better than I do usually too. You usually find something better than me. Yes. Thank you for sharing the show. All right, gang. That is all for today. I'll be back tomorrow for what do you call that? That's FTG Thursday. I forget what the hell I do here. I have no idea. And here come the links. Thank you to a bunch of sponsors today. Appreciate that. It'll help on our little trip. Here's what I'm going to do. So I told you, this weekend we're going to drive to the Northwest Angle. And if you don't know what the Northwest Angle is, look it up. You can look up Northwest Angle, or you can look up Angle Inlet. It's a little part of Minnesota that is the northernmost part of the lower 48 states. And we're driving there this weekend. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see the story going as we go, because we're going to take pictures of a bunch of monuments on the way. And it'll be a fun time. So what I'm going to do is now this Angle Inlet, by the way, I don't know how many people live there. Like maybe 600 people total live in this area. You have to go through Canada to get there. Here's what would I want to do? Hopefully this restaurant, I think it's called Jerry's. There's one restaurant. I don't even think there's a gas station in the place, but there is a restaurant, and then there's a resort, because it's on Lake of the Woods, one of the greatest fishing lakes, on the Canadian United States border, and that's it. And so hopefully Jerry's has t-shirts, because that's probably one of the most rare t-shirts that someone who lives in the lower 48 have, or even the upper 40, the entire country. So, so that's what I'm going to use money for from my streams this week. So that was a long story. That was way too long. Anyway, here are the links, copy and paste. I'm just going to put links, and there you go. Whoops. They're in the chat. They'll also be in the description. I got to go. Thanks. Have a great day. My name is PDawgKnight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. PDawgKnight. And thanks for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.